Yo, what's up guys? Kusanagi here doing a video talking about Misato and whether she's actually usable in the solo raid. So every collaboration we get a free SR character as part of the event. Currently it is NIKKE and Evangelion as the current collaboration. Generally the kits for the SR characters are pretty bad, but is Misato different? It seems like it is possible to actually make use of Misato for solo raid, and her usability probably after the solo raid will be kind of situational. So before you guys think that I'm lost my mind or I'm crazy, let's talk a little bit about her kit and whether it is viable for the current solo raid. So in terms of her kit, skill 1 and skill 2 have a lot of usability. Skill 1 provides passive healing to the lowest HP character after 120 normal attacks, which in my testing was more than enough to sustain through the challenge mode stage. For her second skill, she provides damage to shield and provides HP to herself. The interesting part of her kit, though, is that for both passive skills to work, you must be in manual shooting mode. And so that led me to create the following comp, which was Crown, Leader, Alice, SBS, and Misato. Generally, most players are going to manual Alice, so that means because you are manualing, you get free healing from Misato and the damage to shield as free damage just by putting her in slot 5. I found this team really easy to use, and it definitely isn't going to be for everyone, depending on your own account investments and kind of team situation that you're going to go into solo raid with. So, for example, if you have a well-invested Rapunzel, Misato just plain and simple isn't going to out-heal Rapunzel. And just for comparison, these are the investments on my Rapunzel as well. I did not equip a cube to Rapunzel for the run, but her healing was more than enough to activate Crown's skill. Rapunzel is always generally a pretty solid healer. For this solo raid, I would say the unique thing about Misato is she opens up some possible team comps for players that don't have Rapunzel and for players that don't want to break Naga apart. Because for Asuka's skill 2 to activate, she needs to get a shield. And for Asuka's skill 1 to activate, she needs to have healing. So pairing Asuka with Naga means that you can effectively get both the AT field and the damage a strong element skill active on Asuka without having to break Naga apart or having to run Asuka with Crown plus some other unit that does healing. You can effectively just run her with Naga, and that gives you a pretty solid team that Asuka will be doing decent damage on. Now, Misato is going to kind of give minimal healing here for you to get through the solo raid. I'm not saying it's a massive heal. It is enough for you to survive, and it provides pretty good damage buff to the whole team. So the entire team gets that shield damage multiplier at 100% when you're at investment level 4. So a well-invested Rapunzel or Summer Mary will also be another option for healing. However, the problem with Summer Mary is that her skill 2 passive only works for water code allies. Mary kind of also leaves us without the damage to shield buff because of the way that her passives work. She does have a damage as strong element, but it's only for water code allies. And so running Summer Mary basically blocks 2/3 of her kit. The only thing you really get when you have Summer Mary is a little bit of HP healing if you're not actively bursting with her. So in my view, the Misato tech kind of opens up some interesting possibilities, which is maybe you want to be one with Mary and run her on another team just so you have that extra healing. Or you can run Rapunzel on another team wherever you need some kind of healing, or if you want to make use of the resurrection ability, let's say it is your team 5 that just is super weak and has problems breaking QTEs or surviving, Rapunzel would be better suited on that team versus the team that is kind of already tanky with Crown Shield, and really you're just looking for a little bit of passive healing to make sure that after a unit gets lasered by the solo raid boss, they have survivability and will continue to live throughout the 3-minute fight. I would say this is one of the very few times that a SR unit is usable given the mechanics of the Solar Raid boss, and even a low invested Misato at 444 with a Vigor Cube was more than enough to keep my team alive and hit 1.4 billion on my first attempt. After getting the free duplicate today and bumping her skill 2 to 7, my damage went to 1.5 billion. Probably closer to 1.6 once I get the final dupe when we have hard mode open. And I would say that the damage to shield investment at 125% instead of 100% also added a nice chunk of damage, but I wouldn't say it's necessary for most players. I would say she has pretty niche usage for this solo raid, so I wouldn't advocate leveling her gear, giving her OL lines, or going past 444 or even 441. Especially if you don't plan to burst with her, you could just get away with 441 on her. And this seems to be one of the few times that an SR unit can be used on a team for solo raid, and it might never be usable again. So do be careful about overcommitting resources to building her if you're thinking about using her in that 5th slot, just so you can free up another healer, maybe one of your better healers for another team that you're struggling to keep them alive. I plan to run her one more time once I've got the final copy. I'm currently at 4.5 billion, so I'm sure that I'm going to stay in the 3%. And it's also kind of amusing to have a run with a SR character on the team, and that team be the highest damage dealing team is just hilarious to me. So let me know in the comments if you think I've completely lost my mind, or if you think that maybe you'll give Misato a try and see if she helps free up some of your other units and helps your survivability in this current solo raid. Which I don't think it's too difficult, honestly. The boss is comfy. There are a few little tricks here and there, but for the most part, it's been relatively easy. I haven't felt like I molded too much this current solo raid. That's it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Catch me on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Bye-bye.